Hello and welcome to the Sports 2.0 show. I am your host, Amber Williams, joined with Jaya Williams. And today we are going to be recapping the NBA series for the championship. So, the Bucks, they won. They did it. They pulled it off.
I know. That game last night was absolutely insane. I was on my toes going into the fourth quarter. It was honestly a really close fight and such a fun game to watch. Did you get a chance to check out the whole game, Amber?
Yeah, I did. I got to watch the whole game, and it was incredible. Neck and neck pretty much until the very end. It was insane.
Yeah, I know. Did you see this coming?
Yeah, we predicted it on our, podcast Shattered. We had talked about that we all thought that the Bucks were going to win. So I do think the Suns put out more of an effort than I really thought they were going to, though.
Yeah, they did. It was a close fight. I think they just could not pull through. I've said this and I stand by it. Game 5 was really the Suns' must-win game. That was going to be their defining moment, their chance to push to Game 7 and their chance to really get back in the championship and get ahead. I think once they lost Game 5, we kind of all knew it was over. I mean, I never foresaw them being able to defeat Milwaukee at home. Unfortunately, I think that was really their chance, and they had, again, it was a close fight, but they had just barely failed to deliver in Game 5 as well.
Yeah, and so with that, the Bucks got their first title since 1971, their second championship overall, but the first in 50 years. So you know that Milwaukee was partying it up a big time last night. Let's dive into more of Game 6. So like we said, what a close game. Absolutely neck and neck up until the end. The Suns hung in there. I will give them that. I mean, it was 47-42 with the Suns leading at the half, which, looking at that now, I kind of can't believe that the Suns even had the lead at that point. It was insane.
But no, that's how you can tell. They really were pushing. I think they were playing a lot at their best. It was just those specific moments, especially when Chris Paul is involved,
Yeah.
He lost the handle on regular dribbles so many times too in these finals. I think for him, he doesn't flop under pressure, but he does fail to deliver at times. I think it's just those little moments, those certain little moments where he kind of fails to step up to the plate, but that contributes in a way to, it is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I think he knew that this was his time to shine. He knew that this was his time. I mean, he's 36 years old. This was his time to really prove that he can get a title, and he's been getting so much criticism for it. I think that in a way it probably was a little bit mental of him being in his head, and I can't imagine how much pressure that would be. So I do feel like it was just little things, them getting locked up was kind of the thing that let the Bucks get that much more ahead. What do you think about the Suns' performance in this Game 6?
Yeah, so I had said ahead of this game that if they wanted the series to continue, the Suns needed to go absolutely all out. All of their players had to show up. And, Chris Paul was the leader in points for the game.
He was. He put up a lot of points for them.
Yeah, he put up 26. And, Devin Booker, he got in there too, which, of course, we expected for them to be the leaders for the Suns in this. But it just was not enough for this Giannis-led Bucks team. I think Giannis was definitely the headline for this game. None of his teammates can even touch him in terms of stats and points. Obviously, it's a team game. But I think when you're up against a player of Giannis's caliber, if your entire team is not coming together, which the Suns were not, Chris Paul is slipping through the cracks with some plays, you're not going to come up with the win. And that is what happened here in Game 6.
Yeah, and Giannis just really came charging last night. Yeah. He had an absolutely monstrous, legendary performance. I mean, the first NBA player ever in history to put up over 50 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks in a finals game at only 26 years old. That's crazy. And I think last night really put all of the Giannis haters to bed. I think he really he was there to win. All the Bucks were there to win it. They were on a mission, and they all put on a great performance. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton did great as well.
Yeah, you mentioned Giannis. He was just incredible. I saw a stat that he was the first NBA player in history to average 30-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, and 5-plus assists on 60% plus shooting in a final series. And he's one of only 7 players to have scored 50 points in any NBA Finals game. It's absolutely incredible. Like, he is 100% the backbone of this Bucks team.
Yes, and the face of this franchise. So now we can finally shut up about the Batman Robin debate. I think it's very clear now, especially now that he's taken Finals MVP.
Yes, if we want to look at the numbers of the series for Giannis, he put up a total of 211 points in this series. So he had 20 in game 1, stepped it up really big time with 42 in game 2, 41 in game 3, 26 in game 4, 32 in game 5, and then, of course, the gigantic explosion of 50 in game 6. He is just a point machine. But what I think makes him so incredible is he's not just a heavy point scorer. He's a very key defensive player. We saw that block against the Suns, DeAndre Ayton, and we just, that's one that's going to live on in the history books.
Yeah. And it's interesting you brought up Ayton, because I had always been saying, their best bet for stopping Giannis was to keep Ayton on him.
Yeah.
And I think while Ayton does do a good job in bringing down Giannis's shooting percentage, I think last night it was just too much. Giannis was just too much for all of them.
Yeah, Giannis, like I'm going to say it again, backbone of this team here. And, props to Giannis. We can sit here and have the Middleton Giannis debate, but it's been settled now. And he actually, fought back from that injury. He battled through that knee injury in game 4. And I know there were a lot of doubters that said that they weren't sure if he would be ready or playing up to the NBA championship team caliber. Well, he played through that injury, and I think that's one of the reasons that he deserved this MVP.
Right. And that's the thing. A lot of times people are like, well, none of us saw this coming. I mean, I think a lot of people had Suns winning this championship. I know at the beginning of the series, I definitely had the Suns winning. Yeah, you did. You definitely did too. I know you were a big Suns. You were a big rooter for the Suns at the beginning. And I think a lot of it did have to do with him kind of coming off of that knee injury. And I think as time progressed, they've done it before though too. Let's not forget that they were 0-2 with the Brooklyn Nets. They did the same thing. But I think this time it really does just show like Giannis was not really able to play at his full ability, most likely towards the beginning when he was still coming fresh off that injury. And then once he was back in it, he was really back in it. A lot of people are even bringing up, I don't know if you saw this, but all over social media, old tweets that Giannis had with the late and legendary Kobe Bryant from 2017. Awesome. Have you seen that?
I haven't. That's so cool.
You haven't? So in 2017, Bryant challenged him to win MVP. And once he did that, Giannis quoted Bryant's tweet and was like, "I'm ready for my next challenge." So Bryant tweeted his next challenge was for him to win an NBA championship. And that tweet was in 2019. So a lot of people are bringing that back up, like challenge accepted and challenge complete. I know that like Kobe Bryant would be really proud to see that he accomplished that. And I know they were just so happy last night. The entire city of Milwaukee, like you said, five decades ago was the last time that they won this championship. So fans were crowd surfing the gates and going crazy. And I know Giannis even went on Instagram Live shortly after to share the moment with his brother, who couldn't be there in person due to testing positive for COVID. So that's just an insane victory for them.
And, I was reading some of what Giannis had said after the game, and it was something I think 6 years ago. He said him and his family didn't even have enough money to eat food. They were immigrants and they didn't have it. They were struggling to get day by day just living. And here he is now. He's an MVP in the NBA finals. How absolutely incredible of a story is that?
It is. And everybody loves a happy ending, so I am happy for them. And this is a complete side note, but this is also a victory for Aaron Rodgers, seeing as him being part of the Milwaukee Bucks ownership group. So, I mean, that's good for him. I guess he just lost some money rejecting that 2-year contract deal, but he's still getting a win. So,
well, let's be honest, he's not hurting for money at any point.
Oh my goodness.
Now, I did want to talk a little bit about Chris Middleton because, he was very key in this series as well. Of course, Giannis MVP, we talk about Batman and Robin. We got to talk about the Robin here. So Middleton, he is now headed to play for the United States men's basketball team with a championship ring on his finger. So he was an incredible right-hand man for Giannis in this series. Put up 135 points, had 40 points in Game 4 to help the Bucks tie this series. He's just incredible and was such a key element to this Bucks championship.
No, absolutely. I mean, Chris Middleton, he might not be the person that's always trending or always steals the show, but he definitely has been a huge reason for the Bucks' success, especially in Game 5. I think that I would argue that Chris Middleton played a better Game 5 than Giannis did. Giannis's big block at the end was what went, viral, and everybody was talking about it. But if you look at how he was playing and how he was performing, he was really the star of that game. And like I said, I think he's just the perfect kind of support. Him and Drew and Bobby are great supports for Giannis, and they work together really well to accomplish that.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. He did have a better game, in my opinion, for that one. And, I think this is also a good, everybody's kind of down on the men's basketball team right now for the United States, They're not
These exhibition games have been a disaster.
Yeah.
These exhibition games have been embarrassing and shocking and honestly disastrous. So hopefully with some of those guys coming, because isn't Devin Booker going back as well?
Yes.
So hopefully with those two, we can get some more momentum going for Team USA.
That's what I'm thinking. We've also had plenty of players have to get sidelined because of COVID right now, and they're not going to be able to compete. Right. So having ones that are healthy coming off of a huge win, they're excited. I think that's going to really bring some life into our Olympic
team. And the Olympics are right around the corner. Yes. How are you feeling about them going to join Team USA, though? Do you think Team USA will have a chance with Chris Middleton coming on there?
I'm a little fishy on how the Olympics are going to go in general. There's been so many cases of COVID. I'm a little worried about what's going to happen with the entire Olympics. But as far as basketball, if it gets to be played, I think having them on there, I don't know if it's going to make the team do like a complete turnaround because they're kind of rough right now, to understate it. But I think it's definitely going to be a positive, and it's going to help them maybe like re-energize the players that are there.
Yes, definitely. But turning on to, I mean, it's great to focus on the winners, but we do have to talk about our losers for a second.
Yes.
The Suns, the Phoenix Suns. So a lot of speculation had been going on about, is Chris Paul even going to come back at all? He said that he's ready to get back in there and fight. How do you feel about the future of the Phoenix Suns?
I think this was their chance. I don't think they're going to see another finals for quite some time, as sad as that is. And especially for Chris Paul, I'm not sure he's going to have that chance to become an NBA champion. So I think if we see them in the finals again, it's going to be years down the road. I think they've got some time.
Yeah, I think also with all of those star players being hurt, these finals, were kind of tainted. You know, Kawhi got hurt, LeBron got hurt, James Harden, all of our star players and everyone we were expecting to see end up in these finals didn't happen. So I do think with everybody being back and healthy next season, it might be tough. It's not impossible, though. I mean, they had an amazing run.
It was an amazing run.
They had quite the amazing run this postseason. I still think that Ayton, Booker, CP3, they work well together. They have great relationships. And Chris Paul still is that foundation for the team. So I don't want him not having gotten a title to take away from the accomplishments that he did make, even though he struggled to win it. I think a lot of people focus on that too much with athletes, kind of just, well, if he didn't win a title, he's not this, that, and the other, and they have to prove that. Giannis got crap about that too until just last night. So it is kind of sad. It's kind of sad to see. Although I'm happy for both, I love seeing Giannis so happy and the Bucks so happy. Yeah. It is kind of sad to see Chris Paul lose his chance, because I really did think this was their time to shine.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, if you read any of my prediction articles, it's all saying that the Suns are going to win. We can just ignore them now. But
yeah, honestly, betting with the Bucks has been an entire mess and a half throughout this whole series. Every single game, I'm like, they're winning this one. They don't. They're losing. Oh, nope, they're winning that one. So
yeah. And I'm just thinking, it's got to feel really tough for the Suns, especially because they were leading 2-0 heading into Game 3, and then they lost 4 straight games. I know they're absolutely deflated right now, but they need to keep in mind, you made it to the NBA championship. That is a big deal. But, yeah, I think we are going to wrap it up. Do you have anything else you'd like to add, Jaya?
I think that's all we've got. I mean, this is the worst time. It's so bittersweet whenever an NBA final series comes to an end, because although it's great to see our victors, it means we're out. We're done with basketball season for a whole nother, period of time. But at least we got these Olympics to kind of wean us off of the no sports drought, as I like to call it.
Yeah, and absolutely incredible NBA championship game. Such a weird season, but the end felt somewhat normal, seeing all the people there in the crowds, having head-to-head competition, But, what a great time for the Bucks fan base. It's going to absolutely be celebrating. And as you said, we have the Olympics to look forward to now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Sports 2.0 network and have a great day.